Welcome to our program on Kardec Radio.
Hello dear friends, welcome to Spiritism and the Media. Today I'd like to continue talking about social media as we talked last week. Last week we talked about obsession, obsessors and obsessed, and today I'd like to make us a little different approach. I'd like to ask us to compare the way we write, especially when we are writing on Facebook or on Twitter, the way we write with the prayers that we say. Why would I like to compare the post to the prayers? Because we know that we can basically say that we have three different types of prayer. We may have the vertical prayers, the one that when we actually pray for good things and elevate our thoughts, reaching the high elevated spirits. That's why it is the vertical one. We may have the horizontal prayer when, for example, we are thinking about very earthly things, material things, and things that are not that elevated. So we call them horizontal prayers because we are not actually reaching those elevated spirits, but we're actually asking for normal, regular things from our daily lives here on earth. And we may have the downward prayers. For example, many times we ask ourselves, but how can I pray like going down? How can I pray like going to the lower spirits? Many times if we are asking for a revenge, if we are asking for something bad to happen to someone who made us like feel uncomfortable, or someone who made something that we consider wrong to us, we may like ask for something to or even when we are asking, okay, God, I want that person to pay the lesson. That's a kind of downward prayer, because we are sending those vibrations to the lower spirits instead of reaching to God, because we are not wishing something good to our brothers, but we are wishing something evil to happen to them. So having that in mind, that we have these three kinds of prayer, I'd like for us to make a comparison with what we write on social media. Because the same way we may write something that is like vertical, something that is very uplifting, and that we are helping the others to reach those elevated spirits, to elevate their minds, to, let's say, to put a smile on their face, so we can actually help the persons around us, our followers on social media, to have a better day. Or we can write something very horizontal. That means something that is very like not good, not bad, but it's not going to influence them to change their life, or at least to help them to make a step forward, but it's not helping or pushing them to go backwards, or to wish them something evil to happen. It's like something okay. And we can also write some things on social media that are actually that's actually hurting others around us. So we can like have the bullying online, or we can share like fake news, we can share some speech of anger. So there are so many ways, and we see that so much around us today, with so many groups of people trying to want to talk bad things about the other. And we have this polarization today in our society. So if we think about that, we may have many posts on social media, they are going down. They are actually reaching the lower spirits and helping the world to go to a lower vibration. So it's very important for us to have that in mind, and let's really do that comparison. Every time you write something on Facebook or on Twitter, let's think, okay, but if those words were a prayer, how would it be? And so I'd like us to see a little bit about the book, The Gospel According to Spiritism. I brought the book here, and we have the chapter 27, that is the chapter called Ask and It Shall Be Given You. So in this chapter, the first lesson is about the quality of prayer. And I'd just like to read the first part that Kardec brought here, that is actually from Matthew chapter 6, verses 5 to 8. So Matthew says here, and when you pray, he's quoting Jesus, and when you pray, you must not be like the hypocrites, for they love to stand and pray in the synagogues and at the street corners, that they may be seen by others. Truly I say to you, they have received their reward. But when you pray, go into your room and shut the door and pray to your Father who is in secret. And your Father who sees in secret will reward you. And when you pray, do not heap up empty phrases as the Gentiles do, for they think that they will be heard for their many words. Do not be like them, for your Father knows what you need before you ask Him. So I'd like us to see specifically this part. And when you pray, do not heap up empty phrases as the Gentiles do. So when we write, let's not heap up empty phrases as well. Why I'm writing that? Is that something that is good or not? Is this something that is going to uplift the thoughts of someone else or not? If it is not, why am I sharing that thought? So it's very important for us to do as Jesus is teaching here. The same way that Jesus taught here about prayer, we can apply that lesson when we talk about social media. So that's what I wanted us to think about today, about how we write and how we post on social media. And let's try to do this exercise and to compare what we write to a prayer. So if those words were a prayer, what kind of prayer would they be? So now just to close our meeting here, I'm going to read a lesson from the book Happy Life by the Spirit Joana de Angelis, channeled by Divaldo Franco. So we have here lesson 51. The rancorous person is collecting moral garbage and will end up getting sick as a consequence. Do not let the evil done to you destroy you. If someone wants to see you unhappy, do just the opposite. Live with joy. If another plans to annoy you, insist on harmony. If a person who has become your enemy works to make you unhappy, continue at peace. The worst pain for the person who tries to make others unhappy is to see them imperturbable. Be smart and do not wear yourself out for any reason. Thank you so much for your company. May God be with all of us. See you next week.